House Republicans say the administration stonewalled requests for information and witnesses. That's why House Speaker Mike Johnson believes there's more support to greenlight an impeachment probe. A vote could come next week.
So a formal impeachment inquiry vote on the floor will allow us to take it to the next necessary step. And I think it's something we have to do at this juncture.
The House Oversight Committee says in 2018, Hunter Biden sent monthly payments to his dad from his own business account, which received money from China. Democrats say Hunter Biden was just repaying his father after buying a Ford Raptor. Moderates have resisted an impeachment vote, but some Republicans believe that changed over Thanksgiving.
And they met people in Walmart and people on Main Street. And they're like, what in the world have the Bidens done to receive millions and millions of dollars from our enemies around the world? And did they not pay taxes on it? So they heard from their constituents.
It's about the math. The GOP can only lose 3 votes and still formalize an impeachment investigation.
I'm telling you, if it comes to the floor, we're passing it.
Johnson is desperate to score a political win. Republicans have enjoyed few victories all year. That's why Democrats believe impeachment is a diversion ahead of the election.
So this is all part of a phony effort by extreme MAGA Republicans to distract the American people because they have no track record of accomplishment.
White House spokesman Ian Sams called impeachment a, quote, stunt and a smear campaign. He says Johnson is trying to throw red meat to the far right.
Your Honor, I object.
And why is that?
Because it's devastating to my case.
Overruled.
Good call. I object! Your Honor! I object! I object to doing this show with such a stuffy nose, but 'tis the season. We've been traveling. I got 3 little kids. I got a stuffy nose. Everyone was in the comment section yesterday being like, you got a stuffy nose? Yes, I know. I know. And I got a box of Kleenex right here. But I got Jamie Comer on the show today, baby. And so we are going to rock and roll. Today is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Bank records show Joe Biden received monthly payments from Hunter Biden's company and received millions from China. Ooh, baby, 10% for the big guy. Turns out we were right all along. Man, I'm getting tired of this Christmas season. Christmas season, it's the season of joy and giving. How about you give yourself a pat on the back because you've been right all along. If you've been watching this show, you know. 4 gold bars found during raid of crooked Democrat Senator Bob Menendez's home were previously stolen in a robbery. Okay. Yet Bob Menendez is still in the Senate. He hasn't been expelled. Republicans expelled a person and blew their own majority because they didn't like him buying handbags. Got it. Good job, everyone. House Oversight Chairman Jamie Comer joins the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Gold bar Bob! Why did Bob Menendez get bribed with gold bars? Well, generally because gold is valuable, and gold is valuable. Don't do it the way that Bob Menendez does. You should do it legally, right? Otherwise, I think even if you're a Democrat, the feds will raid you and put you in prison. Gold bar Bob was bribed with his gold. You should get your gold actually on the free market and get your gold right now, because gold prices are skyrocketing. Go to my friends at Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold will help you out. Allegiance Gold will take care of you. They've taken care of my family. I have some of my Allegiance Gold right here in the studio, in this sweet Allegiance Gold box with the eagle on it. It's so awesome. And there it is. Boom. Bam. Baby, it's nice to feel something real. People aren't buying what the Fed is selling. Be done with the fiat currencies and diversify just a bit into gold. Go gold with my friends at Allegiance Gold. ProtectWithBenny.com today. Call 844-66-BENNY. 844-66-BENNY. Get up to $5,000 free silver with a qualifying purchase. Protect your future now with Allegiance Gold. Okay, so somebody was trying to protect their future by embezzling money laundering from the worst countries on planet Earth. Not only is that now provable, demonstrable, and the evidence that overwhelming, but also why the hell has it taken so long for Republicans to get this evidence out there to the American people? We're going to have Jamie Comer on the show. I'm a big fan of Jamie Comer. I like Jamie Comer. I'm angry about some of the things that has handicapped his impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. Why is there an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden? Why isn't there a full-on impeachment investigation? What's going on? So they're like dangling the little carrot in front of us, being like, hey, look, now we'll vote on an inquiry. Guys, it's time to go. Realize what time it is. And we're going to talk with Jamie Comer in a second about all of that. Again, big fans of Jamie Comer and the work that he's doing. But before Jamie Comer joins the show, we're going to talk about a huge bombshell that Jamie Comer unveiled yesterday, which is that Joe Biden personally, and he has the check and everything, got recurring payments, recurring monthly payments from Hunter Biden's, one of Hunter Biden's little shell companies, right? This one's called Owasco LPC. How'd they pick these names? It's like a Mad Libs. But anyway, they were direct payments from Hunter's business. This is the one that was the money laundering business for all the Chinese. This is where all the China cash was flowing through, and then Joe Biden would get that monthly payment every month. So how does it work? Well, I got to tell you, it proves something very important about Joe Biden that I know is going to come as a shock to you. Please, I hope you're sitting down. Joe Biden is a filthy, dirty liar. And I can prove this in an important anniversary that we are celebrating today. We are celebrating a really powerful anniversary, something that, frankly, is near and dear to my heart and to us at this show. Because it's the anniversary of a clip where Joe Biden challenges a portly unit of a man, okay, my people from Iowa, a man who's mustached, a man who by every measure is a Democrat, and a man who did his own research and said, wait a second, it seems like you money laundered with your son off some of the most evil regimes in the world. Ukraine, Russia, China. Where the hell are we having all the problems right now? Ukraine, Russia, China. Throw Kazakhstan and Borat in there a little bit. And wee-wah. You got Joe Biden in a beach house. And Hunter Biden, a Corvette full of classified documents. So we have ourselves a special anniversary to celebrate. Because on this date, Joe Biden said to a man, look, fat, I can do more push-ups than you. And I didn't money launder with my son. Please celebrate this special 4-year anniversary of this moment.
Get access to the president. So if you're selling access to the president just like he is. So
you're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that. No one has ever said that.
I see it on the TV.
You've seen it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I don't get up and let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people now. And I can get things done, and that's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's do this run. Let's do whatever you want to do. My son has done everyone, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Now,
I didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I read here on MSNBC.
Oh, you don't hear that on MSNBC. We did not hear that at all. What you heard? Look, okay, I'm not going to get around with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, fat, look, here's the deal.
Look, fat, look, here's the deal. Come on. That should be the number one clip that was played throughout the 2020 election. Because not only is Joe Biden egregiously lying to this voter, he's also calling the voter fat. It's a primary voter in Iowa. There's not that many people in Iowa. You can't say things like this. And this is why Joe Biden wound up 5th in Iowa. Remember that before they rigged it all for Joe? Just like they rigged it all for Hillary? Remember how Democrats wanted Bernie Sanders? And say what you want about Bernie Sanders, but at least the guy's like relatively authentic and had a real connection to people. Say what it is. I'll tell you a story about Bernie Sanders. Real fast. Tell you a story about Bernie Sanders. I used to commute past Bernie Sanders' house every single day on Capitol Hill. And Bernie Sanders, I would regularly see him wandering over to his neighbor's house and stealing his neighbor's newspaper. Bernie Sanders is such a cheap, old, dusty communist that he wouldn't even pay for his own Washington Post. He'd steal his neighbor's. And it turns out that what I was seeing ended up being written about in the Washington Post because his neighbors complained to the police. And the police had to issue a citation to Bernie Sanders for stealing the guy's Washington Post. So call it what it is. At least Bernie Sanders believes in something. He's a dirty old communist. At least there's some authenticity there. With Joe Biden, there's no authenticity. With Hillary Clinton, there's no authenticity. The DNC, the corporate DNC, rigs their own elections internally in order to steal things from guys like Bernie Sanders. They stole a bunch from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders ran twice. Bernie Sanders should have won Iowa because Joe Biden's calling voters fat. And then Joe Biden gets installed in the White House. And the first thing he says after calling voters fat, and there's another clip that's really famous. We don't have time to play, but another clip that's really famous where he looks a voter in the eye and he says, "Don't vote for me," right? This is the attitude of Joe Biden. I can get away with anything. I do anything because it's not actually a democracy. It's not actually a republic. Everything's been predetermined. Everything's been the wired for me, right? This is the way he's always operated. This is what 70 years of calcified corruption has done to Joe Biden. But ladies and gentlemen, as soon as Joe Biden's installed, he gets to the White House after winning by calling people fat and telling them not to vote for him and lying. Joe Biden gets into the White House and says, "If you disrespect anyone, you'll be fired." Watch.
If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity.
Everyone is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity, except for Fat over there, who questions me and my son. And except, of course, for Corn Pop, the young black man that I tried to kill because he had too much pomade in his hair.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, "Hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off." Well, he came off, and he said, "I'll meet you outside." My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, "I'll be waiting for you." He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, "What am I going to do?" He said, "Come down here in the basement where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, "You walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, 'You may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.'" I said, "You kidding me?" He said, "No, if you don't come back." And he was right.
All right. Yeah, the guy, we should shorten that clip up. But yeah, okay, all right, fine. Just a reminder, we're setting up a stage here, all right? The stage is that Joe Biden's a filthy liar. The stage is that in order to benefit Joe Biden, he'll call voters fat. He'll tell voters not to vote for them. He'll challenge people to push-up competitions. He'll go and attack young black men with chains and razor blades because they have too much pomade in their hair. Joe Biden will do anything to help out Joe Biden. There is no moral code. There is nothing beneath him. He'll do anything to help Joe Biden. He will straight to your face lie to you. Joe Biden himself is a lie. Joe Biden's, that's not his real hair. It's not his real teeth. It's not his real skin. Those aren't his real ears. Joe Biden is more machine than man now. And well, we feel like that's important because it shows his moral character. Joe Biden going to the White House saying, if I catch you disrespecting anyone, you'll be fired. By the way, Corn Pop, where is he? You want to kill him? Too much pomade, Esther. Too much pomade in your hair. So when Joe Biden, during the debates, we had the clip, during the debates with Donald Trump, when Joe Biden says, "I didn't receive a single penny from my son Hunter," it should make you perhaps question this moment.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned that this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one. Number two, this is a president, I have released all of my tax returns, 22 years. Go look at them. 22 years of my tax return. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return.
Yeah, okay. They keep releasing Donald Trump's tax returns illegally. And guess what you find out? Donald Trump was like overly generous, overpaid his taxes, gave a ton to charity. These people, you always pull like, again, Bernie Sanders at the very least is an authentic communist because Bernie Sanders gives nothing to charity. Like when he releases his taxes, like Bernie Sanders has 3 houses and he gave nothing to charity. That's just like Stalin. And he stole his neighbor's newspaper. So good for you, Bernie Sanders. At least you believe something. But anyway, Joe Biden is a liar, okay? So it's not like groundbreaking to establish that. But when you hear him say that I've never taken money from my kid, that's clearly a lie. And Jamie Comer has proven that in a new bombshell yesterday, that there were direct payments set up from Hunter to Joe. Well, it sure sounds like you've taken more than a penny. Watch.
President Joe Biden claimed there was an absolute wall between his official government duties and his family's influence peddling schemes. This was a lie. President Joe Biden claimed his family didn't receive money from China. This was a lie. President Joe Biden claimed he never spoke to his son, Hunter Biden, about the Biden's family's shady business dealings. This was a lie. Now, Hunter Biden's legal team and the White House's media allies claim Hunter's corporate entities never made payments directly to Joe Biden. We can officially add this latest talking point to the list of lies. Today, the House Oversight Committee is releasing subpoenaed bank records that show Hunter Biden's business entity, Owasco PC, made direct monthly payments to Joe Biden. This wasn't a payment from Hunter Biden's personal account, but an account for his corporation that received payments from China and other shady corners of the world. At this moment, Hunter Biden is under an investigation by the Department of Justice for using Owasco PC for tax evasion and other serious crimes. And based on whistleblower testimony, we know the Justice Department made a concerted effort to prevent investigators from asking questions about Joe Biden. I wonder why.
We'll ask Jamie Comer. He'll join the show in the next 10 minutes. We're very excited about that. The left immediately scrambled, right? The White House immediately scrambled. Said, wow, how do we explain this? What possible thing? They've already expended their entire grab bag of tricks. Oh, it was just Joe Biden's love for his son. Oh, Joe Biden's in love with his son. Oh, Joe Biden and his son were roommates, because that's normal when your son's 50. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden never received any money from his son. Oh, they weren't in business together. He never had, they've run out. So they came up with a new one. Joe Biden was repaying a car loan, was getting repaid for a car loan that he gave to his son to buy a Ford Raptor. Okay, that's good. Put the dream board together. Can you imagine the White House? They're like at the dream board, right? Human testicle. Ian Sams is like, I don't know what to do. Let's see. Reach in the bag. Ford Raptor. Loan repayment. He loves his son. Joe Biden did the cocaine found in the White House. Wait, no, take it back. Watch.
China, after being threatened by Hunter, wired millions of dollars to him. And then Hunter started sending his dad payments, about $1,400 a month. These weren't payments from his checking account. These were payments to Joe Biden directly from Hunter's business entity that China had just sent money into. The White House excuse? It was just another loan. So the $40,000 check was just a loan, and the series of 1,400 payments, that was also just a loan, and Hunter's payments from Burisma, also just loans. Yet Trump takes out legit loans from Deutsche Bank, pays them off with interest, and they want to throw him in prison for that.
So how do you explain that this is just a loan? First off, you ever bought a Ford Raptor? Ford Raptor is like a $100,000 car. these loan repayments don't add up to that. Also, who repays loan repayments from your corporation to your dad? Don't make no sense. And many people that are putting the pieces together, who know just basic arithmetic, are saying, again, this don't make no sense. None of this story adds up. We were very much looking forward to Hunter Biden answering these questions. Where's the Ford Raptor? Never seen a photo of Hunter Biden and Ford Raptor. Seen photos of Hunter Biden and Daddy's Corvette, though. Anybody? Bueller? McFly? Anyone? Watch.
So Hunter says he was just paying Joe back because he helped him out with car payments. They say Joe helped Hunter make payments on his Ford Raptor. But why would Hunter need a Raptor if he's got a Porsche? Remember, he's got the Porsche for free. The Kazakhstanis bought him a $142,000 Porsche. Here he is driving more than double the speed limit in the Porsche in 2018. And Hunter also owned an Audi at the time. You're telling me Joe Biden, knowing that his son owned a Porsche and an Audi, loaned him money to buy a $50,000 truck? And if that's true, what kind of dad, knowing your son has been in and out of rehab, is loaning him thousands of dollars to buy a third car? What does he even need a third car for? Look, there's Hunter smoking crack in the Raptor. That story is BS.
Probably not going to make it into the Ford Super Bowl ad or the Ford holiday ad. Cracking a Raptor. Think about it. Remember Jurassic Park? How the Raptors cracked out of their cage? Now you can smoke crack in a Raptor. I don't know. I'm not the marketing guy for Ford, but probably not the best marketing ad for you. And Ford's probably saying, shut it down, please, no more. Somebody who's trying to shut it down is our boy Byron Donalds, who's straight up saying, well, hold up, man. I got a banking background. It's not how this works. But thankfully, the White House said it, so now we can, look through all of Hunter Biden's cars. Also, whatever happened to the diamond the size of a fist that the communist Chinese gave to Hunter? Is that rolling around on the Raptor? Is that under the seat? Any parents out there? You ever have a kid, lose something under the seat of your car? You can't get it. They lost the toy. Is that where the crack pipe and the diamond are? And they're clinking together and they're under the Ford Raptor, and those cars can go fast. And so they're clinking together under the Raptor seat. Hunter's sitting there and driving, blitzed out of his mind, blood red eyes. Going 10% for the big guy, 10% for the big guy. Held by H. Byron Donald saying, that dog don't hunt.
Congressman, switching gears, the Oversight Committee that you're on says that in 2018, Hunter Biden sent payments to his father using a business account that received payments directly from China. According to the subpoenaed records, the payments were nearly $1,400 and happened monthly. Hunter's defense is that he was paying his dad back for car payments.
Oh, what car? This is a joke. Listen, one of the things, I'm from the banking industry. One of the things that we always knew is that if there were these loan agreements that were floating out there with no actual loan document, that is tantamount to money laundering and tax evasion. That's exactly what that is. You're trying to conceal the flow of money to somebody, and you're trying to conceal it from the Internal Revenue Service. Joe Biden has run the country for years saying that everybody needs to pay their fair share. He doesn't want to pay his fair share, and neither does his family. And they've been hiding that money from the IRS and from the American people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this follows, of course, a trend of Joe Biden being a liar, as we have played you clip after clip after clip of Joe Biden saying, look, fat! I never took any money from my son. See, Jack? Saying it on the debate stage, saying it to the voters. Joe Biden on the Senate floor back in the 90s, talking about crack laws. And how if you're caught with the kind of crack that Hunter Biden was smoking in the Ford Raptor that allegedly Joe Biden bought him, he should be locked up. Anybody ever asked Joe about that? Is there anyone with any stones out there that can be like, yo, Joe, you bragged about locking up young black kids with all the crack. You were proud of it. Joe gave the entire speech. We've played the whole speech on the show. Your son? Anything? Bueller? McFly? One man in America continues to deliver for the American people, continues to deliver bombshell after bombshell. We'll go through a number of them on the show today. The man of the hour, the person who is putting it all together, Chairman Jamie Comer joins the program now. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for being on the program again. So listen, I'm a big time Jurassic Park fan. Okay. I like Raptors as much as anyone. Does this Raptor excuse, does this add up? You have a banking background. Does this make sense to you? Or are you now going to like put away this evidence?
No, Byron Donalds was exactly correct in what he said on the Laura Ingraham show. Look, this loan card they continue to play, it's not adding up. If you were making loans, you would have evidence of money you loaned, and then you would have the evidence that we have that you were repaid. So we have where they claim they were repaid, but we don't have evidence where they ever made any loans. And, you know, they've tried to show the press that the two big checks to Joe Biden were loan repayments because, look, here, it says it in the loan memo. Somebody wrote in an ink pen, loan repayment, case closed. I mean, you saw the email we released last week was from a bank examiner. And they asked the same thing. They said, we're going to have to issue a suspicious activity report if you don't answer this question. What was that $5 million for? I mean, you have an investment company with no investments. And you know, what exactly was the $5 million? And he said it was a loan. And they're like, a loan? Okay, well, we're going to have records in our file on you from the bank examiners. So we'll need copies of the loan documents. They say, oh, we don't have any. So we're to believe that at the same time, China and a bunch of other countries around the world were loaning Hunter Biden money in addition to all the other wires that they're going to claim are loans in this deposition. But he didn't have enough credit to get a car loan. And you made the point perfectly in your opening monologue here. I mean, how many cars did they have? And, you know, I have to help my son out and my daughter. They're in college and in high school, and I give them money, but nobody ever pays me back. Joe Biden would give them money if they're telling the truth, which I don't believe they are. And China would pay Joe back. So, I mean, what a benefit to a parent to be able to loan your family $250,000, knowing that they're going to pay it back through the influence peddling scheme from China.
I'm speaking to my wife right now. Kate, if the kids are watching the show, please turn the audio off. We're considering, Mr. Chairman, getting a remote control car, right? One of those little cars for my 3-year-old daughter. And I'm not going to get her 3 of them, right? I think that would be major overkill as a 3-year-old. I think it'd be overkill as a 50-year-old, which is the age Hunter Biden was when all this was going on. It just, again, the dog doesn't hunt.
It doesn't hunt. I mean, it's not difficult to prove a loan. Even if you don't have loan documentation for whatever reason, you should have a copy of a check going out, since we have copies of checks coming in.
Yes.
But they don't. And, you know, at the end of the day, the more evidence we produce, and it's been a lot in the last 4 weeks, starting with that wire, that $250,000 wire from China that was sent to Joe Biden's house, that they claimed that too was a loan. I mean, the more evidence we produce, the more the media attacks me and the Oversight Committee for our credible, transparent investigation. When we claim they got a wire from China, we show the bank records, and bank records don't lie. But the media, the Washington Post, they remind me of that Netflix movie, Don't Look Up. I mean, that's what essentially Philip Bump and the Washington Post are saying. Don't look up. Don't believe those bank records. Comer, I mean, he's making this up. It doesn't. It's Russian disinformation. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, you can't get over 50% polling on any issue in America, as divided as America is right now. And almost 70% of the Americans believe that Joe Biden broke the law with his family's shady business schemes. We are the only committee in Congress that are looking at his financial transactions and asking the tough question, being transparent with American people, delivering every day on more evidence. And yet we get attacked by the so-called fact checkers and investigative journalists in this town. I mean, it's a joke, and the American people see through it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Philip Bump. I love that clip of him responding like a vampire to holy water when the Biden crimes are brought up, like the demonstrable evidence of Biden's lies about his son receiving money? Because now it's clear that they received money and that the money came from China. And so can you explain to me, you, again, Mr. Chairman, you have a banking background. I don't. You don't want me to do your taxes. You'll wind up in jail. I'm really glad I got a guy for that. But so explain it to me like you would a child. How do I get a loan from China? Because I'd love $5 million, right? That would be awesome. That'd be great. If the holidays are coming up, like inflation, can you please explain to me very clearly and very concisely, how does a regular American get an interest-free $5 million loan from China? Because that sounded pretty good right now.
You don't. If you got a wire from China, I don't care who you are, me, you, Bill Gates, it doesn't matter. You would get a call from your bank immediately saying, what exactly is this $5 million wire from China into your account? Because the banks know if they're, American companies based in China or companies owned by the Chinese Communist Party. That's easy to figure out, especially with the bank we're talking about in particular here. And, if the answer is it's a part of the Chinese Communist Party, you have to show loan documentation. If you don't, then the bank's going to notify Treasury of a suspicious wire transfer, suspicious activity report. We believe our client could be violating the law. We asked what it was. They said it was a loan, but couldn't provide loan documents, AKA we don't believe them. We believe our client is lying. Please investigate, and please note to the bank examiners that we did exactly what the law said, even though this was the son of the president of the United States. They called him a politically exposed person. They mentioned who his father was in the email. We see an email from the bank catching this wire right off the bat and realizing, look, nobody from America is going to get a loan from China. And if they did, they would have loan documentation. So the fact that he claims he's is a financial advisor and has a company with no investment, this is some type of scam. It could be blackmail. It could be a national security risk. So, it's not hard to prove. This money from China was either a gift, a bribe, which would be a gift, or it was payback for lobbying, for being a foreign agent. And if that's the case, he's an unregistered foreign agent, which is what the judge in Delaware said he was when she kicked that sweetheart plea deal out. That's a major violation, penalty up to 5 years imprisonment and a $250,000 fine.
So speaking of pleading for mercy, Hunter Biden is pleading to have your committee interview him in public, which is, of course, not the way depositions work. It doesn't look like you're going to grant that. Can you give us an update on that sort of hubris-filled letter that was shot out to the press? What's going to happen? Will Hunter Biden be deposed? What will be your first line of questioning, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, he will be deposed. And remember, we have 20,000+ pages of bank documents. We hope to have 82,000 pseudonym emails, thousands of which were sent to and from Biden and his associates from Joe Biden's fake email name on his government email. Remember, Joe Biden said he had a wall between his family schemes and the government. Well, that's not true. We've proven that with emails. We've proven that with depositions. So every investigation has a deposition. You can get hundreds and hundreds of questions in a deposition where you can only get a handful of questions in a public hearing. We'll have a public hearing, number one, after the deposition, because we have to ask specific questions. We're not talking about a dozen wires here. We're talking about dozens, plural, of suspicious wires from our enemies around the world to Biden that were then laundered through all these fake companies and ended up in the back pockets of 10 different Biden family members, including the sitting president of the United States. So this is very substantive. I know a lot of people want a hearing right now. That would be very entertaining to them. My job isn't to entertain the media or the American people. My job is to get the facts. And the only way you're going to get the facts with this many suspicious wire transfers is through a deposition. The deposition will be essentially public because after it's over with, we will release the transcript.
Yes. And you'll have another Adam Goldman, like sweating, peaked, transparent, nervous, having a clear nervous breakdown after the Devin Archer deposition. That's our favorite clips, is Adam Goldman being like trying to spin the Devin Archer deposition. And he lied. But your committee isn't lying, and we have these scalps. We have this list. I'm just going to go through them real fast, but we're going to pop them up. Like every single success that you've proven here, the $40,000 checks that you have shown, other $40,000 checks, $200,000 checks, outlines of the checks, the bank SAR reports, the bank saying, wait a second, this is a problem with American kids being captured by Chinese interests, direct payment outline, WhatsApp text messages. The evidence is preponderous at this point. And I believe that's probably why they're hitting the panic mode button and saying, hey, it's the Raptor that he smoked crack in. They're running out of excuses, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, nobody's buying this loan deal. One of the excuses on these last wires was, well, it wasn't that much. It was just $1,380 a month. You tell that to the average American who's struggling to buy groceries and put gas in their car and struggling to pay for Christmas presents for their kids and grandkids. The Bidens didn't pay taxes. They lived a lavish lifestyle off the backs of the taxpayers, not because they were receiving government salary, but because they were selling access to our government, to our enemies around the world. I think every working taxpaying American has a problem with that, and they expect us to finish this report. They expect all these people to sit down and be deposed, and for us to issue a final report and then determine what steps are necessary to hold this family accountable.
So speaking of holding families accountable, there is a line in the bank documents that you released that said, we know that the Chinese are trying to capture the children of American politicians. What do you read of that? That was quite startling. Probably the most startling line in the report.
Yeah, I mean, this particular bank, I'm not supposed to name the name of the bank, but this particular bank was a bank that would do a lot of transactions on a daily basis to and from China. So this wasn't like the little bank I was affiliated with or the bank that Byron Donalds was affiliated with. This was essentially an American bank, but with an international footprint. And they know, wait a minute. We've got to notify the Fed immediately because he's lying about what this $5 million was. It's clearly not a loan. They know how the Chinese operate, and this is a suspicious large sum of money to the Vice President of the United States' son, and his father is about to be the Democrat nominee for President of the United States. This is of the utmost concern to our national security. The bank did everything it was supposed to. The other banks did everything they were supposed to. Where the American people, where justice failed, was because you had high-ranking people at the Department of Justice, it looks like mainly Leslie Wolf, who told everyone to stand down. The Ways and Means Committee's meeting today with the IRS whistleblowers. They're going to release more information. These people bravely stepped forward and told the truth and told about the obstruction. So, you got two things here that Congress is looking at. You've got the actual crimes the Bidens have committed, which range from money laundering to securities fraud to be an unregistered foreign agent. And then you've got the cover-up by the government. Why wasn't this caught sooner? I mean, if our government had been working, the American people would have known about this before they stepped into the ballot boxes and voted for president in 2020.
Yes. And that is the subject, actually, of the question that we have from our Benny Brigade, from Elaine Harper, who has a question for you. Will there be similar proceedings to the one being brought against Biden, against Mayorkas or Wray, who seem to be doing so much daily to harm the country? I know that Christopher Wray will be sitting today in the House and answering questions. Mayorkas was brought up for impeachment, and that failed. Yeah. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, well, it was, the normal impeachment, a committee takes the lead in an investigation. In this instance, you have the Homeland Security that's doing that. Then they would refer it, I would assume, to Judiciary Committee, which is the committee that does the actual impeachment. So the handful of people that voted against it because they didn't follow the process. But look, I think I think it's pretty evident that Mayorkas has crossed the line and risked the lives of millions of Americans with the fentanyl that's pouring across the border, the human trafficking that's pouring across the border, and the massive cost to the taxpayers of the migrants that are crossing the border. The cost to the taxpayers, the cost to society. It's very alarming, and he should be held accountable because he's lied to Congress about the border being secure.
Yes. And this seems to be something that Speaker Johnson is going to be holding back Ukraine funding for our own border security. Your thoughts on that? That's breaking across, obviously, the internet this morning. Everyone's clutching their pearls. I'm asking, and I don't know how involved you are in this process, but I'm saying, why are we tying our border security to funding a foreign nation? That's insane. Like, what's going on? But yeah. I mean, it's little old me.
No, one of the most shocking things to me about where we are in Congress right now is the number of congressmen, and that would be Republicans and Democrats, senators and representatives, who this Ukraine issue is like the number one issue for them. And you've heard high-ranking senators say this is the most important issue in front of Congress. I do not agree with that. It wouldn't be in my top 10. I mean, we need an America First agenda. We need to always focus on America first, and continuing to send borrowed money to Ukraine in the form of a blank check with no transparency, no accountability, no oversight is not what very many Americans that I talk to want to see.
Yeah. I think that many Americans want to simply see the rules enforced equally. We really appreciate, obviously, your work holding the feet to the fire of the Bidens. More like a shockingly more egregious, more than just like the Chinese diamonds that were handed to Hunter, happened in the Senate right now. I mean, you could argue that what Bob Menendez is doing is as bad or worse. Bob Menendez still sits in the Senate. Bob Menendez was good friends, good buddies with Joe Biden. Do you think Joe Biden was like passing crib notes in the back with Bob and being like, yo, here's what you need. You need to get gold bars. The Egyptians, they're good for them. They can melt down all the stuff they found in the pyramids and they give you the gold bars. Like, do you think that Bob Menendez learned from Joe Biden?
I do. You know, he was a successor as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. I think that it's no secret to people like Bob Menendez that the Bidens have been influence peddling, that they've received money from our enemies around the world in exchange for foreign policy, in exchange for quid pro quo, like firing the prosecutor in Ukraine. I think that Jim Jordan makes a strong argument when he says that the Chinese saw what Joe Biden did as vice president in Ukraine and thought this would be a good investment for us in the future. Maybe Joe Biden can remove some of the barriers to entry for markets for the Chinese Communist Party of the United States, because, you know, we're having this fierce debate now over not letting China buy farmland and other things. Well, think about what the Bidens were going to do. According to Tony Bobulinski, CEFC was going to pour, hundreds of billions of dollars into American companies and start trying to purchase interest in American companies and buy things like farmland, real estate like farmland. Yes. So, this is no good. The American people have learned from our investigation that Joe Biden lied over 20 times about his knowledge, involvement, participation in, and benefit from his family's shady schemes with our enemies around the world.
Yes. And I have one final question for you, and we deeply appreciate you being a friend of the show and coming on and explaining these issues. We cover them. We've been covering them for years, and it's incredible to actually see somebody make some progress on this, which has been the most open obstruction and corruption that we've ever seen in American politics. Maybe we haven't been paying attention, but this is an anniversary, and this is probably a clip that's as near to your heart as it is to ours. The clip of Joe Biden saying, "Look fat," to an Iowa voter, to a portly Iowa voter, when he questioned this registered Democrat, questioned Joe Biden about the illegal payments from his son. And this happened 4 years ago today, and kind of shocked the world. Joe Biden challenges him to a push-up competition and said, "I never took a penny from any of my son's business dealings." And the guy nailed it. Mr. Chairman, the guy says you set your son up at an oil company to make contributions and to make illegal money. This guy ended up nailing it 4 years ago, and Joe Biden called him fat and challenged him to a push-up competition. Your thoughts on this special anniversary?
Yeah, I mean, if that had been Donald Trump, the media would have been outraged. They would have been astonished at the behavior and maturity of someone in that position. Look, Joe Biden has been consistent his entire life. He's always been dishonest with the American people, from his days in college to just this week in the White House with his explanation of where these payments from Hunter Biden's shell company directly to Joe Biden's account. I mean, nothing he said about his knowledge, involvement, or participation or benefit from his family's shady influence peddling schemes has turned out to be true. We've proven that he's now benefited to the tune of $500,000 directly from his family's influence peddling scheme. If you make loans like they claim, which they have no evidence they were loans, but if you make loans, it's a pretty good feeling knowing it's going to be paid back through influence peddling. I mean, when he loans his son money for a car and his son's paying him back, where's his son getting the money? His only job is at that time taking wires from China. He's an unregistered foreign agent for China. Joe Biden knows this. He's getting paid back money that he supposedly lent to his son. He's receiving a benefit because he didn't lose the money he supposedly loaned. That is a benefit. So we've done everything we were supposed to do. We followed the money. We've tracked it to Joe Biden. We've showed him many times he's lied. I think we're going to have a good impeachment inquiry vote. We're going to have some good depositions of all these characters involved in these schemes. And then we're going to turn it over to the House Judiciary Committee for next steps.
Hey, man. I think that you could beat Joe Biden in a push-up competition, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I would hope.
And an IQ test. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, so very much. Jamie Comer, a true champion of the American people. God bless you for actually getting something done in this Congress.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
You too.
Hey, baby, we're out here. We are out here. We are doing our level-headed best inside of a very broken and very tough system in order to bring you the news and in order to bring you the insight and the access to those who are fighting for this country as hard as we are. That's why we love the slate of incredible names and people who honor us with their presence on this show. And honestly, it's very important that you tune in because, well, you don't want to miss Jamie Comer going off on exactly how the Bidens were bribed. This is important stuff. And I think it's going to carry forth into the new year, and it's going to be very important. You should stay connected with us by using Patriot Mobile. Of course, Patriot Mobile is the cell phone company that we use on this show to bring you the show, to bring you the news, to bring you reporting from the field, and we have special content that we will be bringing you later this week. We used Patriot Mobile by going to a very rural place in America, doing something very special. We're so excited about it. It is in edits right now. You should hop on to the Patriot Mobile Network because they support free speech. They support this country. They are a Christian conservative wireless provider, the only one in America. And, well, you can get a free smartphone now. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get a free smartphone from Patriot Mobile by going to patriotmobile.com/Benny, 972-PATRIOT, and use the promo code Friday76. Friday76 for a free smartphone with Patriot Mobile today. Support a company that supports our right to free speech. And without that, we wouldn't have a show. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 gold bars found during the raid of crooked Democrat Senator Bob Menendez homes were stolen, then returned to the New Jersey business. It's a great clip. Jamie Comer just made big news when he's like, Jamie Comer just made news. He's like, yes, Joe Biden taught Bob Menendez everything he knows. So, what's up? Bob Menendez is allowed to sell out America, be a traitor to this nation, take gold bar bribes. I mean, he's being indicted by the feds for this, but it gets even worse. Apparently, the gold bars have been stolen before, rattling around in Bob Menendez's sock drawer. Watch.
Shocking new details coming out about those gold bars found in New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez's home. A new indictment revealing the gold could be traced back to a violent 2013 robbery. What?
You can't make this stuff up. Cheryl Casoni from our sister network, Fox Business, here with the latest details about the gold bars.
Good morning. Yeah, guys, to both of you. You can't make this up because it's actually true. And this is the craziest thing. So we're learning even more really crazy details about this case against Bob Menendez brought by the feds. So this is a 2013 robbery of the home of Fred Daves. So he tells police in 2013 about these gold bars that were stolen from his home. He says each gold bar has its own serial number. They're all stamped. You'll never see two stamped the same way. Well, guess what? These gold bars somehow ended up confiscated by the federal government, the feds this year, in the home of Bob Menendez.
Wait, so they're stolen gold bars? Let's read, ladies and gentlemen. Very important. New Jersey senator charged with taking bribes from local businessmen in return for political favor had gold bars at his home stolen from the home of a man accused of bribing him. Huh? Bob Menendez, 69, is charged in September with taking cash gifts, including a Mercedes-Benz, from entrepreneurs in exchange for powerful influence to help them. Menendez's home was raided when the charges were announced. Meanwhile, his fellow Democrat senator, John Fetterman, said that the disgraced senator should resign. Crazy. I mean, you have to have like brain damage like John Fetterman in order to make sense in the Senate. Isn't that remarkable? On Monday, it emerged that the gold bars found in the raid on Menendez's home had belonged to Fred Depose, one of the three businessmen accused of paying Menendez for assistance. Depose, a New Jersey real estate tycoon, had his penthouse broken into in 2013 and the gold bars stolen in addition to cash and other items. The perpetrators were caught and confessed, and Depose signed an official police documentation certifying the gold bars were his, identifiable thanks to the serial number markings. Depose said that the stolen gold bars had the stolen gold bars returned to him, but NBC News realized that the gold bars were the same ones that were seized in the Menendez house. The discovery is likely to be part of the prosecution's argument. They maintain that Menendez was paid by Depose for the flavors. All of this spells bad news for Senator Menendez because the chain of custody, it appears, is going to be really easy to prove. Yeah. Also, wait a second. Was he like paid for the loss of the gold bar? Like, if they're stolen, if these are the gold bars that were stolen, is there like money laundering going on here? Did he get some insurance claim for this? And then he shoved the bars down Bob Menendez's portly pants? I don't know. Was there a quid pro quo in exchange for the senator's official acts, or promised the same? Remember, Senator Menendez served with Joe Biden on the same committee, the Foreign Relations Committee. This is the committee that Eric Swalwell wants so badly to get on, as Eric Swalwell gets on his own foreign relations with Yum Yum and Fang Fang. Eric Swalwell himself is a man who pooped his pants on national TV. And now we have another Democrat pooping his pants on national TV. Apparently, there was a loud fart sound that erupted from John Kerry's speech about the dangers of gas emissions. This happened yesterday. We have the footage. And it is, well, powerful and dangerous. It shows the power of wind power. It shows the source of potential unlimited renewable natural gas. What we didn't know this whole time was that the answer to all of our energy problems comes directly from John Kerry's pants. Please watch.
Can be avoiding responsibility for taking away those things that are killing people on a daily basis. And the daily basis. And the
should have played that one for Jamie Comer. And should have asked Jamie Comer about the potential ramifications for this. Do we have the Swalwell clip? No? All right. I know we played it in the show yesterday. Okay, ALX is saying he'll get, because there really are similarities to this. And I think it's important. And I'm a father of 3. I want to be a father of 5, 10, 11. Kate, if you're watching, turn it off now. But I tell you, I'm entitled to the occasional dad joke. And so my dad joke is this. John Kerry, who's 80 years old, crapped his pants on stage during a climate conference. But what he was trying to show us is that the source of true renewable energy and natural gas comes from within all of us. This is a subtle message that has been sent by Democrats on TV for years, including from this clip, 2018. Please watch.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from
That's called dirty energy right there. A renewable. No wonder Fang Fang went back to China. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. The election update. Let's go. Okay. We should change that up. Hey, poor Rolls Royce. It's like, I wasn't ready. Neither were we for that clip of John Kerry and Eric Swalwell farting. Oh, baby. Speaking of making a mess on stage, the GOP is going to make another disastrous decision to allow CNN and ABC to potentially host the GOP debates. Oh, no. Established media outlets CNN and ABC News are reportedly interested in hosting independent Republican primary presidential debates in the coming months. Some GOP candidates previously voiced their support for additional debates, though it is unknown if they would participate in the establishment network events. The GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy slammed the RNC for allowing NBC News the privilege to host the November 8th debate. I wonder where he got that idea. Maybe we have something special planned with Vivek for the debate tomorrow night, which is going to be, I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. All these debates are just like, they're just they're just trying to tempt Donald Trump into getting on the debate stage. Donald Trump is making the right decision to not do so. Also, how hard is it to be a man? How hard is it to have some iron in your spine and some brass in your balls and some gunpowder in your gut? And to just say, as the GOP, we refuse to live on our knees. You cowards. I'm so disgusted by Ronna McDaniels. Man, I'm so sickened by the GOP. They better enjoy this last little run, because I gotta tell you, guys like me, Charlie Kirk, we're coming for you. We have the audience, and we are getting the energy from the actual base of the Republican Party, and we are going to create real change inside the RNC. This is the last go around. So launder all the money you can. The RNC is just a money laundering operation. Launder all the money you can. Get as many payoffs as you can to as many people as you can, because accountability is coming. We're done with these people. We're sick of you. How hard is it to just say, we won't allow a moderator who pushed the Russia collusion hoax? We won't allow a moderator who is a Hunter Biden laptop denier, or a moderator who's an election denier in 2016. We refuse to allow insurrectionist moderators. That would be moderators who promoted the BLM riots of 2020. We refuse to allow those people to rig debates against our candidates. Even if Donald Trump isn't on stage, it's still an abomination. And thank God Vivek called it out.
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment.
No, well, it cuts off right before the clip I wanted to play. So there you go. Okay, fine, whatever. What he says is, is Russia collusion real, or was it Hillary Clinton manufactured disinformation? And Kristen Welker doesn't know how to respond. The camera cuts to her, and she goes, We needed like 10 more seconds to make that point, not with the clip, but like to make that stick. You needed Kristen Welker to actually respond, to have her respond. These people need to be held into account. There needs to be truth and reconciliation. And it's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of force of will, the will to power. But Republicans, for all time, should begin with people like Jake Tapper or anyone from CNN or MSNBC. They should say, is Hunter Biden's laptop real? Answer the question. Truth and Reconciliation. Did Donald Trump collude with Russia? Answer the question. Yes or no? Truth and Reconciliation. That's how we heal the country, actually. You will admit your lies, and you will admit they're false, and then you can apologize for them. You can apologize for lying to the American people. Should have happened on that debate stage. I'm glad that ABC and CNN are planning on hosting debates. Good. More opportunity to ask those questions. We're going to have the energy to defeat the communists, and this is how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. It's also how we do it, our blackout coffee. Now, I got my coffee mug here. Got my Benny Show coffee mug coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, blackout coffee is what is inside of that mug. It powers me through the show, even when I'm a little under the weather. Make sure that we have that sweet, black, delicious bean ground up, made right here in the state of Florida, injected into my veins with the sweet caffeine that comes directly from the God who designed our great black coffee bean. And if you wish to give your hard-earned cash to the people who are trying to design a better and freer America, then I encourage you to go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. Ladies and gentlemen, we can give you some hope on this show. That's what we intend to do. If we have tough stories to get through, or we have interesting, funny fart stories, doesn't really matter to me. We will always end with the good news. The verse of the day from Romans 8:38. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, or anything in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is the Christ Jesus, that is in Christ Jesus, our Lord. That's what Christmas is all about. That's why we give presents. Christ is the ultimate present and the ultimate gift for all of us. And you can know that no one can touch you, can't touch this on this earth when you have Christ as your protector and your Savior. None of it matters, really. I mean, obviously what we do in this life does matter a lot, but you shouldn't have any fear. Fear not is said 365 times throughout the scriptures. That's one per day for every day of the year. So fear not. Stand upright, march forward. The victory is ours. It's your boy Benny. See ya.